But let me come back to the crazy thing I showed you right at the beginning.
Project decisions will be based on science, evidence, and Indigenous traditional knowledge. We're also taking a bigger picture look at the potential impacts of a proposed project. Instead of just looking at the environmental impacts, we'll look at how a project could affect our communities and health, jobs and the economy over the long term, and we'll also do a gender-based analysis.
So is that all that crazy stuff? Is that still in there? That was the part I tweeted the other day that Senator Paula Simon said, no, that's outdated. No, we fixed that with 99 amendments. I would never support that. I mean, who told you that? No, she's pulling a Trudeau on you. Let me read this. This is the law, the final version, assented to last month, that Paula Simons voted for, against her own province, against her own people, out of loyalty to Justin Trudeau.
Quebecers are better than the rest of Canada because, we're Quebecers.
Yeah, that Trudeau. So that's who Paula Simons is loyal to. Let me read at some length from the law as passed. These are the new factors that the government must consider. The word must is in there. Not could, not should, not maybe, not can. They must. The government must consider. Let me read it. Factors to consider. The Commission must make its recommendation taking into account, in light of, among other things, any Indigenous knowledge that has been provided to the Commission and scientific information and data, all considerations that appear to it to be relevant and directly related to the pipeline, including the environmental effects, including any cumulative environmental effects, the safety and security of persons and the protection of property and the environment. Okay, so good so far. The health, social, and economic effects, including with respect to the intersection of sex and gender with other identity factors. I'll stop there for a minute. Of course, the Commission should take into account environmental effects. That's the whole point of this Commission. Of course, people should be protected. Of course, we don't want danger. Those are criteria 1 and 2. But the third one, the very third one, is transgenderism and other identity factors. Black Lives Matter, Hispanic rights, whatever, being gay, being what. Identity grievances are hardwired into the law, and the government must take them into account, and transgenderism is specifically in there. And even that first part, Indigenous knowledge plus scientific information, well, which one is it? I know what folklore is. I know what cultural customs are. We all have our ethnic and religious and spiritual traditions. And I love Aboriginal traditions, by the way. But those traditions don't include building pipelines. How can the law, the binding law, say that the Commission must, not can, not should, but must, listen to Aboriginal folklore about building a pipeline? What does that even mean? Who decides what that folklore is? Which sources, which traditions, on what authority? There were no books. And Paula Simons says this will make approving pipelines easier than before. This is better than it was under Stephen Harper. And you know the proof, just look at all the construction on the Trans Mountain expansion. Oh, right, that hasn't happened. In fact, for the first time in memory, according to the National Energy Board, Canada's oil production is actually shrinking. It's less than it was. While the United States is producing so much, it's now a net energy exporter. It even exports oil to Canada. And Paula Simons and her bosses, Justin Trudeau and Catherine McKenna, are just fine with that American oil coming in, regardless of what transgender intersectionality or Indigenous folklore have to say about that American oil. Yeah, Paula Simons, you are a liar, just like your boss, Justin Trudeau, is a liar. And you both do everything in your power to undermine Alberta, including passing a new law that makes new construction of pipelines impossible in any practical sense. You both are destroyers of the industry and therefore destroyers of Alberta families. That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant show. Every day I do a video monologue and then I interview an interesting guest and then I end by reading my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at therebel.media/shows.